And we're live. Hey guys, welcome to Whiskey, Wine, and Writing. I am your host, Natasha.
Hello, I'm E.L. Wicker, your co-host.
And tonight we have with us two beautiful ladies from Smart
Oh.
Bitches Trashy Books. We have Redheaded Girl and Amanda here with us. Ladies, go ahead and introduce yourselves. Say a little bit about yourselves.
Amanda, you go first because A
Oh.
comes first in the alphabet.
All right, that's fair. So I'm Amanda, and I've been with Smart Bitches for 3 years, 3.5. I started off as a little baby intern during my undergrad, and now I'm not a little baby anymore. So yeah, and I read romance, obviously, and I think we all have our niches at the site, but I love sports contemporaries, so if that's your thing, that's my thing. And paranormal. I would think I'm one of the last few paranormal readers.
Oh, well, I just love you even more now.
I love paranormal too. Like, I grew up on urban fantasy. Well, I mean, at least within the last, 15 years. But yeah, no, I totally love urban fantasy and paranormal, so.
Paranormal.
And I'm Redheaded Girl, and I've been writing for Smart Bitches for almost 5 years now. And tonight I'm drinking a Slum Brew Trekker Triple, which is really delicious and a local beer. I mostly read historical and have been known to read some old school from the late 80s, early 90s, and my head explodes sometimes. And I just reviewed Grey.
I read it. It's freaking hilarious.
Oh my god. Oh my god. There was
You ranted, Grey.
Yeah, I ranted Grey.
I was peeing myself laughing reading it.
There was so much alcohol involved in reading that book.
Well, it's okay to have alcohol and read. I do that all the time. I mean, I sound probably pretty bad saying that, but I do.
I have it, but I got about this far in, and I stopped.
Good for you.
Yeah, your life is better. Your life is better.
I just can't. It's completely shattered the illusion that I had in my head. It's gone.
And she's a huge 50 Shades
I
fan.
was,
She
yeah.
loves it.
I was against the norm, and I really liked it. And I would proudly say, yeah, I like it.
Well, we had a guest review on the site today from someone who loved the trilogy, and she did not like Grey at all.
Oh.
So you're not the only one.
And it's very rambly as well, and yeah.
Oh god, it's 576 pages.
Yeah.
Well, if you're just joining us, guys, we do have two of the ladies here from Smart Bitches Trashy Books, and we are talking book reviews today. We're talking about being on the other side of it, and if you're an author, how you get book reviews and what to do if there's a bad review. And if you have any questions for these lovely ladies who have been doing this for quite a long time, you can hashtag us at WWWriting, and they're happy to answer your questions live. So we will be doing that tonight, so you can kind of get a little inside glimpse on the awesome people who book blog and do reviews on the books you write. So yeah, because I know I love the Smart Bitches website. Like, I love reading the reviews, good, bad, or indifferent. I love them. They're great. You guys are like so vivacious, and you have such a great voice in your writing. So I mean, when it comes to reviews, though, when these books come to you, how do you guys even divvy this up on the site? I mean, is it like a request thing? Like, can I say I request Red to review my book, or do you just go through the form and you do it, and then you guys kind of just divvy it up to whoever likes it best?
Some people send requests, and I do like seeing, hey, I think Redheaded Girl would really like this book. That doesn't mean that I'm necessarily going to read it, and if I read it, it doesn't necessarily mean I'm going to review it. I usually do 3 to 4 book reviews a month. I also do a lot of the TV show recaps and the movie recaps, so I have a lot going on. And since we generally have our own niches, like Elise and I will fight over the historicals, or we'll just jointly review it. But we just sort of look at the at the form and the requests that come in, and Sarah will forward some that came directly to her and didn't come through the site, and just kind of decide. And generally, there isn't that much fighting involved, unfortunately.
I will agree. Yeah, we all have what we like, and so it's really evenly divided. I think we're all lucky in that aspect. Like, Carrie on the site loves sci-fi and fantasy, and that's her thing. And you know, everyone has their little niche. And when you are approaching the blog, I think it's definitely helpful to point out who you think would be the best fit, because it brings it to our attention easier. And it kind of shows that you read the blog and you know the blog and you're kind of playing matchmaker with your book, because we do write bad reviews, but we obviously don't want to read a bad book. Like, we don't enjoy writing bad reviews necessarily. But, I don't know, it helps if the author kind of plays matchmaker a little bit for us and makes our job easier.
Mm. I can imagine that, and just doing a little bit of research on any site that you're asking for a review for. I mean, I would think you would want to do that to see if people kind of even read the type of book you wrote. I wouldn't just, you know, suggest approaching a book blogging site and saying, oh, hey, review my book, and not even knowing what it's about. Just because they're a book review site doesn't mean it's...
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, just because it's a book review site doesn't mean it's the best fit for your book. Like, if you write mystery or horror, I wouldn't go to Smart Bitches Trashy Books to review that. You know, stuff like that. And that's where I think authors need to do their homework. So.
Can I ask what your individual reasons were for joining Smart Bitches Trashy Books? I'd love to know.
Mine's probably a longer answer than Redheaded Girls.
Yeah, I started writing for Smart Bitches because I sent in a Help a Bitch Out on a book that I had seen at a rest stop in the middle of Minnesota when I was 13.
Oh, bless you.
And 18 years later, like, the back cover copy of this book had been niggling at the back of my head for 18 years. 18. And I sent it in to Sarah, and I was like, does anybody know what this fucking book is? And someone did, and I bought it, and I read it. It was Surrender to the Night, N-I-G-H-T, not Knigget. I don't even remember who the author was anymore. But I got it, I read it, and then I was like, Sarah, I have so many things to say about this book. Can I write a review? And she's like, sure. And I wrote this review that was just like, this book is amazing and crazy sauce, and there's so much fuchsia. Oh my god. And Sarah's like, you want to keep writing? You want to review for us any time? Sure, just keep doing. So I did. And that was almost 5 years ago.
Wow.
And now I have a byline, and I get arcs, which is like the best thing ever.
Definitely.
For me, I was a junior at Florida State University. In my program, we needed an internship. It was mandatory. I was doing the editing, writing, and media track. So I did that, and they didn't place you in an internship. It was new, so you just had to do it yourself. And I had been following the blog for, I don't know, a long time, since I was in high school. I'm the youngest of the group, by the way. And I emailed Sarah asking if she wanted an intern, and she said sure. So I interned for her for about a year doing site upkeep, and I wrote a little bit, not a lot, and then I got accepted into a master's program in Boston, and the month that I moved up to Boston, she had asked if I would like to do this full-time, like get paid for it, review books, help her out with the site, and I guess the rest was history. I'm a little different than the rest of the reviewers, where I don't write as often, but I do a lot of work on the site. Like, I'll schedule the posts, I do a lot of social media stuff for the site, so I do a lot of stuff in the back end, as we like to call it. But now that I have my graduate degree and I don't have to worry about school anymore, I have like stepped up, my reviewing. So hopefully you'll see see more of me in my writing on the site.
So how many books do you each read a month?
Ooh.
Oh God, I can't count that high. I honestly, I don't know. I don't know.
Let me rephrase. How many books do you read a month that you review on the site?
Ooh.
Like I said,
tough.
usually it's around 3 or 4. There are some that I read that I think maybe I'll review this, and if the review is just going to be like, well, that was a book, and you know, it was words, and they were in the right order, I guess. I mean, I feel like my reviews are more interesting when I have something to say. That's more than just, oh, this book happened. So like if I want to talk about an issue or something, or there was something really interesting that the author did, basically, if I don't feel like I can get good 700 words out of it, then I'll be like, well, I read that book, it was nice.
Yeah, we don't review every book that we read. Like, I just knocked out 2 books that I requested on NetGalley, and I'm not writing them up for the site because I don't really have a lot to say on the book. We don't really have a word count at the site, but I don't know, I feel the amount of effort and work that I put into reading should equal the time that I spent talking about the book. So if I only have, you know, maybe 300 words, I'll maybe put it on my Goodreads account, or I'll put it on the feedback box on NetGalley, but I won't write up a full thing. So I would say maybe I read and review 1 to 2 books a month as of right now. I'm starting to read more, but it's a crapshoot sometimes. Sometimes you'll have a really bad month and you won't really read anything worth reviewing, and sometimes you'll have a really good month and you just want to talk about all of the things.
Have you got any pet peeves when you read books? Is there things that jump out at you time and again, and you're just like, oh, stop it.
Okay, if your copy editing is so bad that even I notice, you have a problem. I read fast enough that, you know, minor errors I skim over, but if I'm like seeing a blatantly wrong word or tense shift every page, then you need to fire your copy editor or at least hire a new one or something. You need to do something. And that's generally my biggest, is if you can't even be bothered to make sure that your writing is coherent, then I'm just like, you don't care about this, so I don't care about this.
I think my major pet peeve, it's really nitpicky, and I feel like really snobby for having it. I love pop culture. Like, I am tied into the internet all day, every day, and I just, like, consume it constantly. But I cannot stand pop culture references in my romance novels. I won't read, like, rock star heroes, and I won't read, like, a music romance because they'll often make references to pop songs or specific songs or lyrics, and it just dates the romance for me, and I'm like, this could be really good, but what about 5-10 years from now? Is anyone going to care that you're quoting My Chemical Romance in your book? So
okay, My Chemical Romance is always relevant.
Yeah.
Uptown Funk, though? I don't know. We'll see.
I just can't. I can't do it. I don't know, it curls my toes, and I don't like it.
So I guess for you, that's the kind of book you don't like to read, is anything that's like you said, the rock star romances and stuff like that. So what about you, Red? Is there a type of romance you just don't like to read, a type of book you don't want to even think about reviewing?
Yeah. I am not fond of contemporaries, and especially not small-town contemporaries, because it's just so boring. I mean, my preferred book is an old-school historical with crazy sauce plot coming out of its ears. And if it's just like, oh, I came home to a small town and it's a second chance romance, and everybody has Adirondack chairs on their porch. I'm sorry, that's so not my bag. I know there are people who love it, and more power to you, but...
Well, this is where it goes back to returning to the do your research on on the book blogs you're submitting your stuff to.
Absolutely.
So that you know you're submitting your book to somebody who likes to read your type of book.
Yeah.
Obviously I wouldn't submit, my book to Red because clearly she wouldn't like it. So. But that's okay. And I think that actually is a good lesson for authors to learn, is not everybody's going to like the type of book you write. They're not going to like the genre or maybe the subsetting of the genre, and that's okay, and that's where review sites and doing the homework for it come in. So I think that's good for them to learn.
Yep.
So
just because I don't like that book doesn't mean that I think it's bad, which is the big thing that I've struggled with learning, and I think I've finally got a good handle on it, is I don't like it doesn't equal it's bad. Sometimes it is bad. Sometimes it's bad and I love it. So whether you like it and whether it's
no matter what side you're on.
Exactly. It's like it's not even a continuum. It's like a thing. I lost something.
Well, so here's a question in that regard of, just because you don't like it doesn't mean it's bad, but you still, you guys have written bad reviews before, it happens. So have you ever had like an author come back at you for that? Like, let's talk a little bit about etiquette here, authors. Like, do you have any horror stories about that? About, certain authors who are just like freaking out because you gave them a bad review? Have people like kind of asked you to take them down? What do you do in those situations?
I've never had anyone ask me to take them down, which is good, because I would suggest that they have some anatomically improbable things they could do with themselves. I did review and this was a contemporary.
I know exactly which one you're talking about already.
It was a Rita nominee that we only had one person offer to guest review it, and she couldn't.
It was my fault. I begged someone.
Yeah, she did beg. And the general premise of the plot was that the heroine was an attorney, and I'm an attorney, so I have feelings. And
you're just because you're an attorney, you're automatically gonna know if there's anything that doesn't mesh with her being an attorney, anything that's wrong with that profession.
Right, and sometimes if it's handled well enough, I don't care. But in this case, we get to it. The plot was that the heroine was representing a teenage girl who accused her brother of physically abusing her.
Ooh.
The brother's the hero of the story, and he and the heroine meet because his sister accused him of beating her up, and the heroine knows it's a false accusation and all this stuff, and it's like everything where you're starting from here with false accusations, and the lawyer heroine is banging the accused abuser of her client. Like, everything about that was just not good. And and I was like, I can't even with this book. Let me list all of the reasons in which I cannot even. And the author's like came back, and she kind of did this self-abasing comment on why she felt she was justified in plotting that way, and really she checked with other attorneys, and there was totally no ethical boundaries crossed at all. And I was like, just don't.
And she also, in that comment, she also offered to give everyone a free copy of the book if they wanted to try it out for themselves, and they mentioned, like, the Smart Bitches review.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know how well that turned out for her. I don't know how many people asked for a copy of the book. But yeah, she also finished her comment with, if you want to try my book, just mention this review, and maybe you can see for yourself. But I think that's probably the most obvious case we have of, like, an author, like, coming into the comments and saying something.
Certainly recently.
Yeah, I feel like most of the author bad behavior is behind the scenes. We often hear of, like, authors talking crap about the site.
Mm-hmm.
So we hear that, like, through like the grapevine, but I feel like we haven't had a direct attack in a while, which is, knock on wood, let's keep it that way.
So, just, what if an author did that and came back and started, like, this whole, flame war on the site, whatever, and what would happen from that point for the author in regards to reviews, not just with Smart Bitches, but, with other book review sites? Because I assume you guys have relationships with other book review sites. You talk to other book review sites.
Oh, we talk. We all
Exactly.
We all do. Oh, yeah.
Exactly. So, if that were to happen, just, again, hypothetically, what could the repercussions be?
Well, we don't have like a standard like blacklist. Like we don't have a running list of names or anything.
Mhm.
But I help Sarah put together the books on sale posts, which go up every day, Monday through Thursday, sometimes Friday. And I'm very cognizant of authors who are not fond of us or supportive of us or who have had issues in the past. So on that end, we're not going to promote your book if you don't like us to begin with. So that's one repercussion is you're not going to get any free promotion out of us. Like if we see your book on sale, we're not going to talk about it. We're not going to mention it because you have such a negative opinion of what we do. Why would we want to help you out in the first place?
When you're sitting there already bad-mouthing us.
Yeah.
It's absolutely fair.
Yeah, no, that's understandable, and I don't think some authors realize how small of an industry this is.
Tiny.
It's very, very tiny, and the things you say will get back to people, and it pays to be nice to people, and it really does.
Just like being nice, just to, be cordial and polite and. Not everyone is going to like your book, and like I said before, we don't enjoy reading books that we don't enjoy, but it happens. It's not a one-size-fits-all sort of deal. So.
Nobody is ever going to like 100% of the books out there. It's just not going to happen. Somebody somewhere is not going to like your book, guys. You might as well just kind of take a deep breath, accept that fact, exhale, and
move on.
Yep.
Right.
So,
and remember that F reviews sell as many books as A reviews, if not more.
Oh, yeah.
well, I think that if there was a book out there, I think that had nothing but good reviews, I would be wary of it. I really would.
Oh, yeah.
I kind of look at those and I'm like, I feel like something's going on here because somebody in this world is not going to like this book. So, and it's not necessarily going to be grammar reasons, or it's going to be like, I didn't like this section of the plot. It doesn't mean the plot is bad. It just means for this person, it didn't sit. But I kind of like to see those just so I can get a feel all around of what's going on the book.
Yeah.
So when it's all good reviews, I'm just kind of like, what's going on here? Something's wrong here. What's up with this? I don't know what's going on. So, and speaking of, by the way, you guys have a podcast, yeah?
Yeah, Sarah does.
Sort of. Is that what you said?
Oh no, Sarah does. She's the one who runs it. She does. It's what is it? Dear Authors, Smart Bitches.
No.
Podcast.
Dear Bitches, Smart Authors. DBSA.
Okay. So she is the host of the podcast, but I think we've all been on it at least once, maybe twice each at this point.
Yep.
So yeah, she runs the podcast. She does a great job of getting a diverse group of guests. I think last week she had a bunch of sociology professors on, which was super cool.
That's awesome.
So yeah. So there's stuff that's not just authors promoting their books or not just bloggers talking about books they like, but I think she does a good job rounding out all sorts of guests.
Yep.
That's very cool. Yeah, I kind of just realized that because I was poking around the site, and I don't know why I never realized it before. Wait, they have a podcast. Why haven't I listened to this before? So that's on my to-do list, actually. So.
Yep. And that comes out every Friday.
Oh, wow. So we're Mondays, you guys are Fridays. We should somehow be like, this is awesome. You need to listen to both.
We like to bookend the weekends.
Yes, exactly. I love it. So out of curiosity, if an author was like, can you take my review down? Because whatever. Would you guys do it? Is that a problem?
No.
Like, can
No.
you have something?
Not happening.
Nope.
Yeah, there's just, Now, is there something in your form that kind of like warns authors of this, or it's kind of like just a given?
I feel like it's a given. I don't think we have any specific language. It's like if there's something that you don't like, let us know. I mean, I feel
Be
like
prepared. This is an honest review.
yeah,
Right, right. I mean, there's part of the site that's like, if you want to submit your book for review, there's sort of here's an example of an A review, here's a C review, here's an F review. You should be prepared to receive any one of these, and we don't pull our punches. If we don't like the book, we are going to tell people why we don't like the book. And that is part of the social contract you enter into.
And they do get edited. Like, I know Sarah will go through them, and if there's something that she feels needs clarification, she'll ask us, can you expand on this a little bit more, or I don't understand why you saw it as this, or I've had to either expand or, like, change grades before. She's like, well, you talk a lot about this, and it seems like this book is more of a mediocre C grade to you than it is, like, a B grade, so we are cognizant about our grades matching how we feel and what we say about the book. So it's not just we like type up and write up all our feelings and then just slap it on the homepage. There's a lot more like craft and care that goes into making sure what we say stands as a grade. If that makes any sense.
Yeah. No, that's good, and that's good for an author to know that it's not just about your feelings, and that you guys do sit there and talk about it, and either raise or lower the grade depending on what you're finding within what you're writing and things like that. So it's kind of good to know that you guys sit there and you go through and you really think about these reviews, and they're not just slapped up, because I think that will help an author decide. At least for Smart Bitches Trashy Books, you obviously can't answer for all book reviewers, but I would hope for all that have a substantial name that would be the same case with them.
Mm-hmm. And we also do make sure that when we're talking about the book, and we're pretty clear that we're not like, and the author is a bad person because she wrote this. And I think some of my early reviews kind of would slip into that, and Sarah has mentioned that some of her really early reviews she looks back at and goes, ugh. I said things. But that, I mean, the site's been around for 10 years, and we've all had a chance to learn and grow and get better at what we do.
Absolutely.
I mean, it's a massive site. You get over 350,000 unique views per month, don't you? That's a hell of a lot. So when you're writing out the reviews, considering that many people read them, do you ever worry about things that you're writing, or do you ever get stressed about anything, or do you just go with the flow?
Oh, I get stressed all the time. I have such bad writing anxiety. I remember I wrote a post last October, and it wasn't necessarily a book review, but a book I was reading at the time. It was Yes Please by Amy Poehler, and if anyone has not read it, you should. It's amazing. And I have struggled with depression for a very long time. And then I was in the kind of like, I don't know, a resurgence of my depressive moods as I was reading this book. And it kind of like, I don't know, it was like the right book at the right time and all of the planets aligned and that sort of thing. And I wrote a post about that, and it was very nerve-wracking. And Sarah was great, and she's like, we don't have to run this if you're uncomfortable. I just want to make sure. And she's like, she sent me a note like the morning it was going to go up. She's like, I want to let you know this is going to be posted. I can take it down if you're having second thoughts. So like the more serious stuff, I'm definitely wary about. But if I'm just talking about how much I love a book or anything, I kind of just let it fly and I don't have any problems. But I feel like the posts or the reviews that touch on more serious topics, I definitely get a little nervous, like the joint review Redheadedgirl and I did of Asking for It by Lila Pace. Yeah. That was such a touchy topic for a lot of people, and it dealt with a lot of controversial issues that I was worried how it would be received by the general public.
I was too. I think doing that review as a conversation between the two of us made it a lot easier. Like I read it about 2 months before Amanda did, and I had sort of thought about maybe I'll just try and crap out my thoughts so I have something on paper to go off on, and just and then Amanda read it, and she was like, I have so many things to say, and I was like, great, I have so many things to say too. So we said them at each other, and that made it a lot easier to sort of organize those thoughts into something that was kind of coherent.
Were you worried about offending people because it's touchy topics, controversial issues? Were you worried that your opinions were going to offend people who read the article?
A little,
yes, yeah.
Yeah.
We try to do our best to also issue trigger warnings in any of our reviews that could have some problematic scenes or issues, but I mean, it's still pretty touchy whether or not you issue a trigger warning beforehand or not.
Right. So, but I mean, you guys have read like hundreds of books, I imagine, like
a lot
beyond,
of.
Oh yeah.
Beyond. But if you could choose one book to recommend to somebody that they have to read before they die, just one.
Oh
Just
God.
one book that you would have
Why
to
would
say
you do this
have
to
to read, because I'm a cruel and terrible person. But you have to read one book before you die. What would it be?
The Heiress Effect by Courtney Milan.
Oh, look, straight up answer. Awesome.
She had it.
I feel like
She was
I'm
ready.
floundering over here. Oh my God.
So while she's floundering, give us a quick synopsis of this book.
The Heiress Effect is a early Victorian historical. It's the second book in the Brothers Sinister series, and it's about the hero is a lawyer who's attempting to break into politics and wants to be a member of parliament, and the heroine is an heiress who has a shit ton of money and is doing her best to discourage suitors for various good reasons. And they sort of butt heads, and she wears the most ridiculous clothes. And I love Courtney's writing and her dialogue. And this one is full of lawyer jokes, which, if there are any other attorneys or people who suffered through law school listening/watching, she made the rule against perpetuities funny, which is impossible. It's impossible. And the secondary characters are great, and it just gave me lots of feels, and it's one of the 2 books that has actually made me tear up, and in this case I wasn't even PMSing.
Aww.
All right, Amanda. We stalled for you.
I stalled.
Your turn.
50 Shades of Grey. Wink.
I can take the book if you crazy one. I don't read it.
Your butt.
Oh my gosh. I'm gonna say 2 because I'm gonna cheat. So I'm gonna recommend a really recent one that I read a couple months ago, and I will never stop singing this author's praises because I just want her to do well. It was Ripped by Edie Harris. It's romantic suspense, and this was one of the first romances that I've read where the heroine is more sexually experienced than the hero. And I cried during like their first like sex scene because it was so beautiful, and he was just like, I'm really inexperienced, please just tell me what works for you. And it was just lovely and amazing. So I really enjoyed that book because the funny thing is the heroine, this is the second book in a series, and I would definitely say you have to read the first one. The heroine in this book is actually kind of an antagonist in the first one. So I was very wary going into it, like how is this author going to make me like this horrible person? So I really loved that one. And then I will never, ever, ever, ever stop reading or talking about the Immortals After Dark series. I love Kresley Cole so much. I would give her all of my babies if I could.
She's like, I will give you my firstborn. I'm not worthy.
Whatever she wants of me, she can have. And I was just talking to Sarah about this book earlier. It's book number 4, Wicked Deeds on a Winter's Night, I believe is the full title. It had a horrible cover, but all of the covers are getting redone and they look beautiful. But it's a paranormal romance between a werewolf and a witch, and they're natural adversaries. And the main conflict is that everyone has like their like mated person, like their true love. And the hero, Bowen, has already been mated. He's already found his mate, but she has died.
Oh.
And he meets this witch. I know. He meets this witch, Mary, and he starts feeling like this is his mate. And he's like, well, this can't be real because I already met my mate. Clearly she's using her like witch magic on me, and I'm not having it. So there's kind of that weird like enemies to lovers trope, but with like magic and werewolves.
I love that. That sounds so cool.
It's really good. I was talking to Sarah about it, and like, I need to read this again immediately. Just talking about it makes me excited to read it again. So there's 2. I know I cheated.
Actually, you gave us 1 in a series, so it's more than 2, but K.
I'm sorry.
No, you're not.
I'm not. I'm not sorry at all.
Yeah, sometimes you but I still think you have like the best Twitter name ever.
Thank you.
I'm an adult. I love that name. I really do.
I try so hard.
I think we all try really hard. I think I fail most of the time, though. It's okay.
Yeah, no, I do as well.
We all do. We all do.
It's okay.
So we've had a question come through. This is from Jake Devlin, and he wants to know what might be 3 or 4 of the most common problems in the genres you review.
Ooh. Sexual assault as a backstory.
Yep.
That I'm very critical of any character who has any kind of sexual assault or rape as a backstory. It's very, for me, it could vary between readers, but for me, I'm very critical of it. And it's hard to do well, and I don't like it being used simply as kind of like a way to further the plot, or just like, oh, this person was clearly abused as a child, that's why they're so like broody and moody and just have a lot of problems. Like that really, really bothers me. And if you pitch me any book at all, and it has that plot device, just be careful, because I am very critical of it anytime an author uses it. That's a hot spot for me.
But it is used a lot lately.
It is.
Yeah.
New adult, I'm looking at you.
Oh, yeah.
So it's
Yep.
It wasn't me!
it's really hard to do well, I think.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of things like that, personally. Don't like you.
I get really crabby about shoddy historical research. Like, if you throw in, for example, this is like the example, if you have your Vikings cooking potatoes, no you don't, because potatoes are an ingrown food, and the Vikings didn't have them, so they were not baking potatoes. And that is so easy to not do that, like, just do at least...
If you
Some
want your
basic.
Vikings to eat potatoes, just send it my way, because I don't have any
Right.
knowledge about historical accuracies whatsoever.
Like, I don't need things to always be meticulously researched and, like, all of your dates to match up and everything. Although, when that does happen, the end based, it makes me so happy. So happy. Tiffany Girl is amazing. But just at least ground your historicals in something. Have some idea of your historical events and what was going on and what people were wearing. Get your underwear right. Please get your underwear right.
Pivotal point. We need to make sure that it's correct.
Yes.
I think if you're gonna write historical, at least have the basics down. I don't think you need to know the necessarily every fine detail of that era, but you should know the basics.
Mm-hmm.
So.
And writing is a hard job, and pacing is also an issue for me. I personally do not like it when the couple gets together and acknowledges their feelings halfway through the book. I want that to be like the major payoff where they like right up until the very end they're still working on figuring out their feelings. I don't like it when that's kind of resolved halfway through the book and we just get a lot of like making out and going on dates while they deal with like outside conflict. I like a lot of internal conflict. And I don't know. I feel like relationships aren't that easy where you just acknowledge your feelings halfway through the book and then everything is great and you're just dealing with like assholes who want to personally ruin you. I don't know.
Yeah, in a romance, the romance is your A plot.
Yes.
I don't know. Maybe they would like redemption. So.
Right. Speaking of redemption, here's one. When the hero has done fucked up, and you don't get a truly satisfying grovel, that's unsatisfying. Part.
Oh yeah, if it's not a truly satisfying grovel, it's a
gravel. And he needs to understand if he can enumerate the ways in which he has fucked up, and now the ways in which he is going to fix that. Yay! That is a good grovel.
You gotta work for it.
You have to work for it.
You gotta work for it.
And like, I'm sorry I was an ass. Oh, honey, it's okay. I love you. Let's bone. No.
That's not how it goes.
No.
How many requests do you guys get a month for books?
Oh my goodness.
So many.
We have an email account strictly where the requests go. They just go there, and we all have access to it, so we can like poke around and see what's there. We also receive books in the mail, so we have that coming in. We also, we want to read something that we're excited about, so then we're going out and asking publicists for books that we personally are looking forward to. So there's a lot from like all sides.
Or just sort of wandering through Amazon going, oh, here's a book from 1992 I haven't heard of, and look at this cover. It's insane. I need it. Now.
Yeah, a lot of us do backlist stuff, so it's not a lot of new releases either. So it's not even just requests, it's just whatever we happen to find.
That sounds like an amazing backlog of books you're never going to get to read.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. No, the giant box and bags of books I brought home from Romantic Times. Like,
you were an RT?
We all were.
I was an
all
RT.
5 of us were. It was the first time that we'd all been in the same place at the same time.
It was great.
It was my first time at RT ever, so I was a little overwhelmed.
I was too.
Yes. Sarah was the only one who'd been there before, and the rest of us were like,
what's going on? What's happening?
Lots of drinking happened. Lots of drinking happened.
Lots of drinking. I awkwardly fangirled at Scott Westerfeld.
That's alright, you're allowed to do that.
That's okay, we're all going to go to Vegas next year, and then we'll meet up and have drinks together.
Yes,
that's
definitely.
my birthday weekend in Vegas.
Oh my god, that's amazing! Yes, we're having drinks and having fun in Vegas, ladies. So, but with everything though, can you kind of like estimate a number that you guys kind of get? Like,
okay. On a weekly basis.
Sorry, I got off track with RT.
No. So personal requests, I would say mail-wise, I probably get anywhere, in my email, I'm lumping email and book mail together, 5 to 10 personal on a weekly basis. The reviews email account where like people can just send it and all 5 of us will scan through it and see whatever jumps out of us. I feel like we get 20 requests a week, maybe. I'm being conservative.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Crap.
Just to everyone. And then like Sarah gets personal stuff that she like forwards to us.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know about Redheadedgirl.
That's a lot of books.
You might get more book mail than I do.
And you guys do both traditionally published and self-published, yes?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, whatever we want, whatever looks good.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. And now, what if it's like something that hasn't been released yet from a first-time author? Do you do that?
Yeah.
Yeah. If the pitch is good, if the premise sounds interesting, we'll definitely give it a try.
Okay. I think the book I talked about before, Ripped by Edie Harris, I read her first book, Blamed. She's by Carina Press, which is like the digital imprint of Harlequin. I don't know for sure, but I want to say she's a first-time author, or first-time published with Carina, and I took a chance on her first book, and I loved it, and now I'm like a avid acolyte of anything she wants to so.
So, wow, I mean, there's just so much. Go ahead, sorry.
I was just going to say, how do you feel about cliffhangers? Don't go too harsh, because I write cliffhangers. But how do you feel about
some people hate
Don't
them.
tell me.
Some people really hate them.
And some people, like, I don't
hate them. I don't care.
I mean, if it's really well done, and then I find out that I have to wait over a year to find out how that ended, then that makes me sad. Not because, like, oh my god, how dare you do this to me, but more like, God, I still hope I remember exactly what happened when the next book comes out. Because, I read so much, and things get jumbled.
I think I did 6 months, so I think, 6 months.
Yeah, 6 months.
That's a good time.
I think that's a really good time frame.
I don't mind cliffhangers, really. I love Goodreads. It keeps me organized. And that's how I put together, like, the new release posts that we have on Smart Bitches called Hide Your Wallet. And my TBR list on Goodreads has now clocked over 1,400 books, and I'm just crying on the inside.
I don't have the patience, though. That's my problem with
I
Goodreads.
love it.
I'm clicking so much because I'm doing this, that, and the other thing, and I get so sidetracked on Goodreads all the time.
But
I get lost
it's
in that
so helpful, because it'll send me emails like, a book on your list has just been published, and so it'll send me like little reminders that, oh, a second book in the series or a third book in the series is coming out. So I don't mind cliffhangers. I mean, I have enough to read in the interim between when the next book comes out. But there are people who really hate them. Like when we did our Asking For It review.
Which doesn't even really end on a cliffhanger. It just ends on a...
kind of like
it's not a happily ever after moment. No. It's if this weren't being marketed as a romance, this would in fact be an emotionally satisfying ending.
Yeah.
If you weren't conditioned to expect a happily ever after. So, I mean, there could be more to the story or it couldn't. It's like how Hannibal has to end every season.
All right, I'm gonna throw another doozy out there. So, is there one plot? And this was asked actually by our social media girl, who is Suzanne Samin. She's amazing.
Yeah, social media.
Yeah, she does all the tweeting for us. She is just absolutely amazing.
Away at her tweets while
she blows me away. She's so good. She's amazing. I love her to death. She goes, what's one book you guys would love to read, like a dream plot in a book that you would just love to read?
Oh, God.
So actually, it's her doozy. It's not mine. It's hers.
Oh, my goodness.
Oh, like, I have so many catnip plots that I just found out that Teresa Romaine, who is a historical author, and I love her dearly, she has also written one of the 2 books that made me cry. I was PMSing, but I didn't cry on the bus. Just because I needed her hero and heroine to get their shit together and learn how to relationship, because it could be so happy if they just get their shit together. Anyway, her new series is about thoroughbred horse racing, Regency thoroughbred horse racing, which is like, she spun the wheel on the redheaded girl crackpots, and that's what she came up with, and I can't fucking wait.
All right, Amanda, your turn.
Okay.
Come on.
Oh, this is tough. I really, really, really love kind of like class differences. So there's a book coming out. I think it's Tessa Bailey's Broken Beautiful series.
Tessa Bailey's
she is so great. I love Chase Me, Need Me, and then the new one, I can't remember the name of it, is coming out in August, and it has like an uptight heroine and like a blue collar like construction worker hero, and I'm all about that. So if I could get like I love sports contemporaries. So a sports setting, preferably hockey, but usually there's no huge hockey following in the South. But
I watch hockey. I'm just putting it out there. I actually just read Linda Acher's. I think that's how you say her name.
I just wrote a review of gameplay for Smart Bitches.
Was it gameplay? But wait, I don't think it was gameplay. I read it was the one on NetGalley just recently. Was that gameplay?
Okay. I saw that one on NetGalley, and I contacted Angela, who's an editor at Karina. I was like, do I have to read these in order? She's like, no. I was like, well, I'm going to read them in order anyway.
Yeah, well, I just read the one, and I can't remember what my novel was called. Like, Still in the Game, I think it was, or something like that.
And I was like, I'm not going to request it on NetGalley until I read the other two. But I read the first one.
Oh, no, I didn't read the other two. I just read that
Was
one.
it fine? Can I read it without reading it?
Yeah, you can read it. It's a total standalone. You don't have to,
Okay.
I think it's one of those where it had spin-off with characters, not necessarily a storyline that's in order, but with characters.
Gameplay was just like, meh, and I wasn't.
I liked it. I liked the I think Staying in the Game. I think that's what it's called. I could be wrong, but I liked it. And then but yeah, no, actually Tessa Bailey, I wanted to say is she has the same agent as me, Laura Bradford. She's adorable.
She is doing great things. I love her Broken Beautiful series. But
I haven't met her in person yet. I talked to her on Twitter. She's actually in Central Florida right now doing a signing. And I'm like, why are you not coming to South Florida? It's okay.
I met her at RT, and she signed my little Kindle case, and I was very happy. But, okay.
I missed so many people at RT. You have no idea how many people you miss at RT till RT's over.
Because you're just so tired. I'm just like, I napped watching Cops a lot.
She did. She did. We were roommates.
I had never met my roommates when I went to RT because it was a very last minute thing. So it was like, hey, does anybody need a roommate? And then this girl answered, and they were great. Like, they were awesome. I didn't see them except for, like, at night, and then for whatever reason, we'd all be so tired, but we would giggle till, like, 2 in the morning and then finally go to sleep.
I've got my own room for Vegas. I need my own room. Just me and the choir.
But holy crap, it's already 8:54.
Oh,
We're at the end of the hour. That's what happens, is it goes by so fast, you never realize it. But is there anything regarding book reviews or authors coming to you for book reviews, anything we didn't touch on that you wanted to talk about or put out there?
Don't be afraid of us, I guess. Like, we're not that intimidating. I know some people...
Really scared.
Yeah. Like,
you're adorable. Are you kidding me?
I'm super mean in real life, you guys. You have no idea.
Yeah, I can tell.
She's short
I see the claws. I see the claws.
No, but, like, you know, just get to know the site, get to know the different personalities, at least for us, and I feel like that goes for any site. Like, know who you want to get your book in the hands of. Like, and just talk to us like we're normal people. Tell us why you think we'd like it. Like, oh, Amanda reads a lot of hockey romances. Here's my book, and it's got X, Y, and Z. She seems to like this, or Redheaded Girl. You know, she likes these crazy, cracktastic, old school, you know, plots.
I have 10 pounds of plot and a 5-pound casing.
Okay, that is such a leverage quote that you twisted. I love it. So, 20 pounds of crazy, 5-pound bag. It's okay.
And just like talk
I'm a
to
nerd.
us.
Yeah, you're all nerds.
So, Amanda, she was the one who was just talking, guys. See what happens when I go.
Tasha, go home, you're drunk. Red.
I wish, but no, this is me sober. At least if I was drunk, it would be an excuse. Right, go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, we read books because we love them. You write books because you love them. Because God knows you're probably not doing it for the money. And, I mean, we're all in the same business of wanting to get good books out there. So, we're not scary. We're maybe a little scary.
Yeah, I think it's scary.
Scary. I would totally have drinks and lunch and just hang out with you guys all day.
Yes.
We should all live like in the same area. It would be a lot of fun.
Our team
Amanda and I live less than a mile from each other.
Yeah, we're pretty
And
lucky.
we never hang out.
Never.
Yeah, I can tell you guys don't know each other at all.
We don't.
Well, the first time we actually saw each other, we were standing next to each other on the tee, and I didn't realize it was her because she's literally a foot shorter than I am. And like 10 minutes later, I got an email from her going, "Were you on the red line going south and got off at this stop?" I was standing next to you.
Wait, how tall are you, Amanda?
I'm 5 feet tall.
Oh my god.
I'm 5'4".
And I'm not the shortest one. I'm the
She
shortest
isn't.
member of the bitchery either.
I am the tallest.
How tall are you?
I'm okay. She's not literally a foot. She's 9 inches. I'm 5'9".
I guess I'd be in the middle. I'm only 5'4".
I'm
Yeah.
5'3".
Amanda, or not Amanda.
Carrie.
Sarah's 5'4", and Carrie is, I think, 4'11".
You could put
Short
her
girl problems.
Yeah.
Yep.
4'11", that's tiny.
And Elise is like 5'2".
But I do want to thank you guys so much for coming on. It's been so much fun and informative for all the people and all the authors who may want to have their books reviewed by you guys. You guys are so awesome, just so much fun.
Thank you.
It's been
Tweet
a
at
great
us.
time having you.
I love being tweeted at. It's fun.
Yeah, tweet at us. I didn't have
And
to
check out the Smart Bitches
you
Trashy
guys.
Never
Books
tell me
website.
to tweet you. You will never hear the end of me.
No, you won't. It's okay. But you have to love E.L. Wicker. She is just amazing. She's so much fun. She's one of my favorite CP partners. We're the Walrus writers. That's a long story. But there's 4 Walrus writers. That's a long story. That involved a very awkward conversation. But anyways, I did, didn't I? Holy crap, I did. But anyways. But no, she's a lot of fun. She's great, and but it's been not drunk. Wish I was, because then it would explain this. But no, it's been a lot of fun having you guys on. You're amazing, and make sure you guys check out the Smart Bitches Trashy Book website, which is smartbitchestrashybooks.com. Easy to remember, right? And you can go there, get everybody's bio. Sarah, who is the founder, Red is there, and Amanda's there. You can see all their bios. You can get their Twitters there. Not that you can follow them now. It's sitting there. So you can do that and tweet to them because they're amazing. They love hearing from you. Also tweet to us if you like tonight's show. Give us a big old thumbs up on YouTube and subscribe to our channel. You guys have a most wonderfully creative night. We will see you next Monday.
Bye.
Bye.